Hello, trading is closed on November 24th, 2014. I'm Jeffrey Tennant. We had a mejt call for a target of 2069.96. That worked perfectly as it was hit pretty much on the nose early on, and there was resistance over that price. There was one other call, not based on the system, and I'll return to that in just a minute. During the day, the system said ultimately higher prices would print. They did. It said this rally was a false move. The prices would retrace to this line. They did, and there was support under the line. Well, there's no mejt target for tomorrow. That means I have to work a little bit harder. I did say that having a gap up and then closing lower like this typically leads to lower prices. I said unless we had a gap over the day's high, that we could have a stilt-like move down and take out that low. Well, that was obvious from the open. That wasn't going to happen, but this is really a copycat pattern from yesterday. Once again, we have a gap up, and at the close, we can't take out the initial high. This is the opposite of what we had last week. We had a gap down, and at the close, we couldn't undercut the initial low. Here was a gap down, and at the close we couldn't undertake the initial low. It implied that the drop was not gathering any support, and so we had a rally. We now have the opposite formation. It's the same call. Unless we have a gap over these highs, lower prices should print. I should point out that we're close to a sequential sell on the daily, and by early next week we could have a sequential sell on the monthly. Thanksgiving week is one of the most consistently positive weeks of the year. It's possible we could negate the negative implications of this chart by having a gap over recent highs. That being said, this is a negative pattern, and without such a gap, the odds favor lower, not based on the mejt system. And that is today's call.